Homecoming week is here and you can feel it in the air. How has Cowboy football fared off during homecoming? One major music artist gets the party started at GIA this week. Also, with the Big 12 playing at a level not seen before, how does the conference match up going into the week? We'll tell you all of that and more. The Poke Report starts now.
Hello everybody and welcome to Homecoming Week here on Library Lawn. I'm Asa Lucas.
And I'm Alex Tusky. Asa, we are nearing the end of Homecoming Week. How is this week and your weekend plans looking like?
Well, Alex, I'm not going to be able to drive around everywhere. We have thousands of people coming into Stillwater and I'm just excited. This time of the year for Cowboy fans and for us students is unreal.
Exactly, and you guys can see behind us, we got the fountain dyed orange, the signs, walkarounds tomorrow. It's just a great time to be in Stillwater.
Absolutely. OSU has been known for many traditions. Homecoming and Hoops is one of those. Let's check it out.
Homecoming in Hoops returns to Gallagher-Iba Arena with a performance by special guest Waka Flocka Flame on Friday, October 21st at 8 p.m. The Alumni Association is partnering with OSU Athletics to present a spirit rally that excites fans for football homecoming and the upcoming basketball and wrestling seasons. This year, America's Greatest Homecoming is getting hyped up by BET award-winning rapper Waka Flocka Flame. Both the men's and women's basketball teams and the Cowboy wrestlers will be introduced before a 15-minute intermission, allowing young families to exit before Waka Flocka's performance. Admission to the event is free and doors open at 8 p.m. with festivities kicking off at 9. For the Poke Report, I'm Drew Allen.
To stay in the loop for all homecoming events, make sure to check out orangeconnection.org. It'll update you on everything you need to know about America's Greatest Homecoming.
Now, Asa, you grew up in Stillwater. How big is Homecoming Week, not only for OSU, but for the community as well?
I mean, there's so much money getting poured into the community here with people visiting, including your family, Alex.
Yes, I have my dad and sister. They are off camera, but they are here and excited to be representing California and Tennessee for America's Greatest Homecoming.
So where are you going to take them to here in Stillwater?
Of course, Eskimo Joe's and Hideaway, some classics. Two of my favorite Asian restaurants in town. We got Miso and Tokyo Pot on the list as well.
Highly recommend those, folks. I highly recommend those.
If you're ever in Stillwater, make sure to check it out. Getting back into homecoming here, the game is Saturday, football, homecoming, a lot on the line. In recent years, football really hasn't been in OSU's favor heading into homecoming. Noah Weber has a story.
Oklahoma State hosts one of the biggest homecomings in the entire country, and it is focused on the annual homecoming football game at Boone Pickens Stadium. But OSU fans don't realize the haunting reality that comes along with this time of year as of late. OSU has lost the game going into homecoming for the last 4 years. It all started in 2018 when OSU traveled to Manhattan to face Kansas State the week before homecoming. OSU lost this game to K-State 31-12. In 2019, OSU traveled to Texas Tech. OSU defeated the Red Raiders in 9 of the previous 10 matchups, but lost this game 45-35. Since there was no homecoming game in 2020 due to COVID-19, we move ahead to 2021. In 2021, OSU lost a nail-biter to Iowa State 24-21 in Ames. And finally, last Saturday, the Pokes' undefeated season ended in a 43-40 overtime loss against the TCU Horned Frogs. The Pokes will look to bounce back this week as they play the Texas Longhorns on Saturday. Texas is 3-1 in conference play and is led by quarterback Quinn Ewers and running back Bijan Robinson.
Five's a good player. The other back they put in there is a good player. The quarterback obviously flips it around pretty good.
Although the Pokes haven't been winning the game before homecoming, they've typically responded with wins on homecoming. OSU has won 5 of the last 6 homecoming matchups and have outscored their opponents 274-129 in these games. The Pokes will look to keep their recent trend of winning on homecoming alive on Saturday. For the Poke Report, I'm Noah Weber.
Kickoff is set for 2:30 tomorrow against the Texas Longhorns. Thank you, Noah.
You know, this past homecoming tradition of losing is not the only chip on the Cowboys' shoulder. Our own Jace Andrews has a recap that's going to be a little bit heartbreaking for you Cowboy football fans.
The Oklahoma State Cowboys are now 5-1 after falling to the TCU Horned Frogs on the road. Coming into this game, these were the last 2 unbeaten teams left in the Big 12. The Cowboys got their offense moving early, with Spencer Sanders rushing for 2 touchdowns before TCU had a point on the board. The Horned Frogs then came back with a touchdown of their own as Max Duggan punches it in from 1 yard out. The OSU offense responded right back with a 35-yard field goal from Tanner Brown and an athletic touchdown grab by John Paul Richardson. This put the Cowboys up 24-7 with 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. But this is where the offense was put to a halt. TCU chopped the lead down to 11 at the half, and in the second half, the OSU offense was quiet, scoring just 6 points on 2 field goals from Brown. Head coach Mike Gundy noted about his offense not being able to get it into the end zone.
We had the ball around the 50-yard line twice. One time with 6 minutes and 40 seconds or something, and then we had it again. And if we would have played decent and moved the ball a little bit, we had a chance to finish the game.
This allowed the Horned Frogs to come storming back in the fourth to tie the game up and send it into overtime. In overtime, it only took 2 plays from TCU to score, with Quentin Johnston getting the pass from Duggan. Oklahoma State was able to convert a 4th and 9 with the game on the line, which led to Dominic Richardson tying the game back up and sending us into double overtime. Oklahoma State got the ball first, and after a holding penalty and 3 incomplete passes, Tanner Brown nailed a 52-yard field goal. This, unfortunately, though, allowed TCU to win the game with a 2-yard rushing touchdown from Keandre Miller that sent Amon G. Carter into a frenzy. Offensive coordinator Casey Dunn knows that the OSU offense has to be better.
We've got to go back to the drawing board a little bit and find out, how we can get the ball in certain playmakers' hands and go from there.
The Cowboys will be back at home this weekend for their homecoming game against Texas, looking to get back in the win column. For the Poke Report, I'm Jace Andrews.
That wasn't fun to watch, but as Cowboy fans, we need to put that one in the rearview mirror and focus on this Saturday's game. Thank you, Jace.
Time for a quick break, but when we come back, one Cowgirl has made the dominance on the green. Find out how she made the jump this season. Cowgirl soccer faced off against one of the top 10 teams in the nation last week. How did they fare? We'll have that and more when the Poke Report returns.
I want to show you something. This is the money we could save by switching from fresh packed California crushed tomatoes to concentrated tomato paste.
I want to show you something, too. I got a new door. Go take a look at it.
Nobody uses better ingredients than Little Caesars, like fresh-packed California crushed tomatoes. Pick up a large, deep dish for just $8.
Pizza, pizza.
Introducing Lincoln Black Label at Diffie Ford Lincoln. Designed to impress those with impeccable taste, Lincoln Black Label features a collection of interior themes and a host of exclusive membership privileges inspired by attention to detail and a love of automobiles. With Lincoln Black Label, you'll enjoy an extended premium maintenance plan that covers wear items or even remote vehicle delivery. Lincoln Black Label isn't about luxury ownership, it's about membership. Lincoln Black Label, exclusively at Diffie Ford Lincoln.
At ASAP Energy, our goal is to provide the best customer service for whatever our clients need.
My relationship with ASAP Energy came about in 2007. I was wanting to build a convenience store. I didn't know how to do it. I'd never been in the business. I just felt comfortable with Rick. And so I knew that I wanted to do business with a guy like that. Integrity, loyalty, and family. I would recommend that to anybody. Thanks for taking a chance on me.
At ASAP Energy, everything matters.
Where were you born? It's a question asked all the time. Because where you're from shapes who you are, inspires how you do things. And when that inspiration comes from a place this refreshing, this majestic, this... well, you get the idea. Coors Light, born in the Rockies.
And welcome back to the Poke Report.
It's no secret that OSU athletic program has been dominant. The cross-country team showed out this past week in Stillwater. We have our own cross-country player / media student, Sara Hakkanen, has the latest.
The Greiner family OSU cross-country course hosts the third home meet of the year to finish off preseason. Today's meet will help determine the final lineup for conference and nationals.
Okay, this multi-million-dollar cross-country course looks and feels amazing. No wonder it's considered one of the best in the nation. I'm sure the runners like it too. Let's get out of their way.
Leading into the Weiss Crockett Invitational, the latest coaches poll ranks the Cowboys as 4th in the nation. The men's race kicked off the competition at 8:30 a.m. Junior Ryan Shoppy took the lead 2 kilometers before finish and was the first Cowboy to cross the finish line by placing 7th. The Cowboys as a team finished 8th.
I wanted to win the race. Sadly, didn't happen. I think I made my move a little too early, but I'll learn from that.
The goal for the rest of the season is clear.
We want to win nationals as a team and then conference as a team. Individually, I want to be All-American.
The Cowgirls came into this week as national runner-ups, which is the program's highest ranking ever. Likewise, the team got a second-place finish from today's Invitational. A freshman from Kenya, Bila Chepkirui, stood out with a win by 7-second margin. Assistant coach Anna Boyethorpe was happy with the team's improvement from 3 weeks ago. Especially Chepkirui took a giant leap in the right direction.
Bila, who ran pretty well here, this is her second race on our course. The last time she was out here, she thought she had 4 loops, so today she came in knowing that there was only 2 loops in the race. She ended up running, which honestly, that was pretty incredible. She ran 20:15, which was faster than what Natalie and Taylor Rowe both did 3 weeks ago.
Freshman Natalie Cook and senior Taylor Rowe are among the nation's best runners. Bila's outstanding performance will help the Cowgirls reach the ultimate goal for the season.
Advance to the national championship and then get to the national championship with a lot of good running left in our legs and try to go for the win and surprise some people.
Every Cowboy fan should write down November 19 and come help OSU win national titles at our beautiful home course. For the Poke Report, I'm Saara Hakanen.
Cross-country program continues to stay active on Twitter. You can follow them at Run4OKState on Twitter. Thanks, Sada.
Cowgirl tennis continues their momentum towards the end of the season, with some promising results from a couple of individuals last week at the ITA Central Regionals Championships. Jax Thompson serves up the latest.
The performance of the Cowgirl tennis team in the ITA Central Regional Championships is a sign of good things to come this season. The tournament was played this past weekend, wrapping up on Monday. Several members of the Cowgirls reached the quarterfinals and 2 reached the semifinals. In doubles, the team of Alana Wolfberg and Raquel Gonzalez reached the quarterfinals before coming up short. Partners Ayumi Miyamoto and Christina Novak also fell in the quarterfinals, losing in a close match that required a tiebreak to decide.
We like what we saw. We also saw a lot of things to work on, but so far they did good, and we like a lot of things that they did.
OSU had even more high finishers in singles, with Gonzalez and Wolfberg reaching the quarterfinals along with their teammate Sofia Rojas. Wolfberg and Rojas both won their quarterfinals matches and advanced to the semifinals, where they faced tough opponents.
Rojas' match was particularly grueling. Her first set went to a 7-point win-by-2 tiebreak that stretched to 32 total points on this court. She would go on to lose that tiebreak 15-17.
She would be unable to bounce back, losing the match to Arkansas's Carolina Gomez Alonso, who went on to win the tournament. While none of the Cowgirls reached the finals, the ITA Central Regional Championships held several bright spots for OSU. On her way to the semifinals, Wolfberg took down the top seed, Tasapor Naklo from Iowa State.
I played well, and I didn't let anything affect my mentality. I just kept pushing forward. It was a good match.
Rojas took down the 6th and 3rd seeds during her run, and her only loss was against a player who went on to win. Overall, it was a strong showing from 2 players who will be near the top of the Cowgirl lineup this season. Another notable performance came from the Cowgirl freshman Gonzalez. She was able to reach the quarterfinals in both singles and doubles, and her loss in singles came to Gomez Alonso, the same girl who would go on to knock out Rojas and win the tournament.
It was awesome. She's a little fireball. She brings good energy, and she's very talented.
Thank you, Jax. Cowgirl tennis will travel down to Texas to compete in the ITF Waco $15,000 pro circuit.
On to Cowgirl soccer we go, Alex. Cowgirl soccer just played their toughest opponent, the TCU Horned Frogs, this year. Derek Mendez has more.
Coming back home after an intense bedlam thriller, the Oklahoma State Cowgirls faced their first-ranked opponent, TCU, last Thursday. TCU displayed their experience in the first half as they were able to break apart the Cowgirls' defense and create multiple chances that tested keeper Ari Purifoy, who made her debut in the starting 11. The pressure that TCU kept piling on rewarded them with a penalty after defender Allie Jackson tripped up her attacker in the box. Forward Cameron Lancaster converted the PK to give the Horned Frogs their deserving lead. Adding another goal was inevitable, and in the 73rd minute, forward Messiah Bright capitalized off a set piece to increase their lead. The Horned Frogs' last goal would come from a PK as TCU went on to win 3-0. Despite the result, one positive Coach Carmichael took away was Purifoy's solid performance.
So I was really proud of her. I thought early she was a little nervous, it looked like, but once the game settled in, she made the plays she was supposed to make. So I was really, really proud of Ari. What a game to have to step into, right? A top 10 team. So pressure was on and she handled it well.
In their second match of the week against Iowa State last Sunday, the Cowgirls looked to do what they struggled with against TCU, and that's creating chances. The Cowgirls had the edge when it came to chances in the attacking third, and a big opportunity came when Blythe Beldner beat her defender and squared one back to Gracie Binboydle, who couldn't connect cleanly and scuffed it wide of the frame. The better chances came in the second half, and Olivia Dowell stole the show. After a poor clearance from the defense, Allie Jackson played it to Dowell, who had space to get a shot off, but could not get it on target. Dowell had another big scoring chance when Jackson found her again, this time with the ball over the top, and she controlled it down with her chest and struck it well, but the keeper made a lovely fingertip save. The Cowgirls continued to create and found themselves awarded a penalty late in the game when Binboydle was fouled inside the box. Grace Yoakum stepped up and converted the PK, and the Cowgirls closed out the game, defeating Iowa State 1-0. While Coach Carmichael believed his team should have converted more chances, they showed resilience, heart, and grit on the field, and Grace Yoakum believes this game establishes their identity moving forward.
Everyone puts their body on the line. You know, everyone is fighting for each other, and you know, if one person loses a tackle or misses something, we have someone backing them up. So it's kind of like the next girl up mentality, and I think that we've kind of shown that, and we're going to continue to show that.
Coming up next for the Cowgirls is another home conference match this Thursday against West Virginia, where they hope to secure another 3 points. Reporting for the Poke Report, I'm Derek Mendez.
Following their Thursday matchup against the Mountaineers, the Cowgirls will play host to the Texas Longhorns here at home. First whistle set for 1 p.m. Thanks, Derek. Okay, folks, we are 2 segments down, 1 more to go, but I promise you this is the one you're going to want to miss. We got stories about how Cowgirl golfers are dominant on the green, and you're going to want to get out your magic 8 ball because we have a very special guest coming up, so don't touch your remote. We'll be right back.
The deli department at Homeland is Oklahoma's headquarters for party trays. Enjoy the time with family and friends at your next event, and let your neighborhood Homeland create the perfect fruit, deli, or cheese tray for you. The party planners at Homeland will help you choose the perfect party food, sized just right for your guests. Call us, stop in, or order online, and we'll make it ready for pickup on your schedule. Make your next party special with a party tray from your neighborhood Homeland.
Good to be home, Homeland.
Love these things. Hilarious. I'm sorry. Force of habit.
As long as you are you, it's Miller time.
Hi, it's Sam at Louis Grill and Bar, here to introduce our new menu items from south of the border. Come try our new poblano chicken tacos, or the ever-popular sriracha shrimp tacos. At Louis, where you come for the food, but stay for the fun.
It's hard to imagine my life before her, or a day without her. So much of what I take for granted simply wouldn't exist. She is the force that holds our life together. She is my everything, the center of my universe, from Forevermark. The diamond, the promise. Available at Lewis Jewelers.
As we begin our final segment on this week's Poke Report, we move over to the Country Club, where our own Serge Thomas has a story on one cowgirl who's been showing her dominance.
In the penultimate golf tournament of the year, the Illini Women's Invitational, Oklahoma State's own Madison Hinson-Tolchard put on a show. Carrying a career-best 54-hole score of 12 under, Hinson-Tolchard finished solo third in a tournament where the Cowgirls as a team finished ninth at 13 under par.
It played a little bit shorter than other courses that we play when we go away, So I think a big thing to focus on was the wedges and like really dialing in on those sort of shots. And it was also key to hit the fairways because the rough was quite challenging. So if you hit fairways and had an easy wedge shot into the green, you can make a lot of birdies.
Well, the one thing that Maddie does really well is she makes a lot of birdies. And she just plays her own golf game. That's the thing about her. She hits it, above average in length, not the longest out there, but she just plays her own game. So she may not be able to get to all the par fives and two, but she wedges it well. She just keeps it in front of her, and she's a really good putter.
The reigning Big 12 Golfer of the Year has already established herself as one of the top performers this season, with 2 top 10s in just 3 starts. Hinson Tolchard says she's been focusing on her wedge game to keep her scores low this year. Luckily for her and for Oklahoma State fans, she's a better golfer than I am.
But I've been doing a little bit of work with my swing coach back home to try and get my swing a little bit shorter to eliminate some bad shots here and there. So that's been a big focus as well, and I've been really working hard on that.
I think she's trending that way. I know she struggled a little bit in the one round at the Schooner, but she played well the other rounds. She just had a great summer. It just kind of propelled her into this year. I think she's doing really well.
Hinson Tolchard and the Cowgirl golf team concludes their fall season this weekend with the Jim West Challenge at the Kissing Tree Golf Club in San Marcos, Texas. The tournament begins on Sunday with the final round on Monday. The contest features 15 Division I schools, including 3 other Big 12 opponents. For the Poke Report, I'm Serge Thomas.
Thank you, Serge. Whether you're at home or on the road, make sure you support your Cowgirls.
We've talked a lot about the importance of this Saturday's game, so now it's time to give you a preview on what to expect. Our own Karsten Melton can give us that.
Oklahoma State returns home this week for a homecoming matchup against number 20 Texas. The Cowboys enter their homecoming game coming off a heartbreaking double overtime loss to TCU. Much like last season, OSU enters the homecoming game after their first loss of the season. Last year, it was a loss to Iowa State that then propelled OSU to a 5-game winning streak en route to the Big 12 title game. This year, however, the Cowboys play a Texas team that many around the country consider to be one of the best teams in the country. Head coach Mike Gundy knows that the Longhorns have lots of firepower on offense, but also knows that his team is up to the challenge.
Five's a good player. The other back they put in there is a good player. The quarterback obviously flips it around pretty good. 8 is dynamic. 8 is a threat wherever he is, whenever. So they look kind of like what they have. I mean, they're always going to have a couple wideouts that can burn 4-4 and run it. They've always had 5-star running backs.
The Cowboys have had a good history against the Longhorns since 2010 with an 8-4 record. Only Oklahoma has a better record in that span, so it's safe to say that Texas and their fans know Oklahoma State all too well.
Texas comes into Stillwater with a 5-2 record, with losses by 1 point to Alabama and by 3 in overtime to Texas Tech. The Longhorns are coming off a tough home victory over Iowa State, in which the Cyclones' defense forced 2 turnovers. Now they go on the road for only the 2nd time this season, something that Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian wants to fix for his 2nd season.
Well, I think it starts with maturity. I think when you can mature, and I'm not always talking age, I'm just thinking maturing in our program, in our process of the things that we place importance on, then you can have poise and composure. I think poise and composure is really important on the road. It takes mental intensity, it takes focus, it takes maturity, but it also takes poise and composure on the road, and then playing as one. I think complementary football.
Oklahoma State is looking to create a homecoming winning streak, something they haven't done since they won 4 straight homecoming games from 2015 to 2018. The opponent in that 2018 game, Texas, in a memorable OSU victory. The Cowboys and Longhorns will kick off from Boone Pickens Stadium Saturday at 2:30 on ABC. For the Poke Report, I'm Karsten Melton.
Thanks, Karsten. It's fascinating to see the history and stakes behind this game.
All right, we told y'all to get your magic 8 balls ready for our final segment. We are now joined by none other than our Big 12 expert, Jace Andrews.
Come here. Welcome.
All right.
Finally be here in person.
You know, if anyone's been following Big 12 football, you know how crazy it's been. Jace, last week was like none other. What were your 3 top moments from last week in the Big 12?
Well, when you have 4 games going and only one of them scores less than 40 points, with each opponent scoring 40 points, it's pretty crazy. That one game was the Texas-Iowa State game. Texas won that game 24-21. And I think one of the craziest moments is Iowa State easily could have won that game. They had a dropped
easy touchdown late in the fourth quarter, and then a fumble by their quarterback, Hunter Deckers, which could have been
I was
called
going to say,
targeting.
that was controversial.
Very controversial.
Kind of
very
funky play.
controversial.
Yeah.
So that's a top play I think I have to watch out for. And then one of them comes on Thursday night. Baylor gets upset by West Virginia and Morgantown. And I'm going to say it, TC, you better watch out when you go to Morgantown. It's a tough place to play.
I don't know about you guys, but I didn't watch the game. I was like, oh, Baylor has it in the bag. And then I checked the score and West Virginia wins.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch it either. I checked my team stream. I saw 36-33. What?
The only thing I will say is Blake Shapen did get injured in that game, and Kyron Jones had to come in, threw a touchdown and an interception. But Gavin Holmes, 7 receptions, 210 yards. Only had 1 touchdown.
Wow.
Looking at this weekend, we got, I think there's 4 Big 12 matchups. Who are your top 2?
Well, I'd say you have to go here. You got Oklahoma State coming to bounce back from that loss against TCU, facing off against Texas. Homecoming in Texas in the past couple of years has not been the greatest, but I think they can turn it around here. Quinn Ewers is dangerous, and I think the Cowboys are going to have to watch out for him. But another game to watch out for, TCU and Kansas State. Is TCU going to be, emotional after that big win and maybe not underperform against Kansas State? It's a lot of questions with that game.
Jason, I know you're a very studious expert. You do a lot of studying. You watch a lot of film. What can Oklahoma State do to survive homecoming against a hot Texas team?
Score. I think that's the biggest thing. The Texas defense did hold Alabama to 19 points or somewhere around there. I really think that was a different Alabama team than what we've seen recently, and also a different Texas team. But you also got to worry about 2 running backs, Roshan Johnson and Bijan Robinson. 2 of the coolest names, by the way, to kind of combine with those 2. But it's going to be hard. I mean, Texas has them in all 3 levels. They've got receivers, they've got rushers, they've got Quinn Ewers, who is arguably first-year best quarterback in the Big 12, maybe behind Max Duggan, and then Spencer Sanders right behind him. For this game, though, it's going to be a lot about scoring. You need to score, and you can't have a second half like last week.
Agreed.
Looking at that TCU K-State game, it's the battle of the purples, right?
Yeah, very much. The purple people eater will be the winner.
Purple's a color we don't like.
Right, we don't like purple in the Dusky household, but
or in the Oklahoma State place. Apparently.
That's true. We do have to ask who we have picking, and before we go into those predictions, if you've been watching along, you know that Asa and I have been keeping tabs on who's doing best. I do have to tip my hat off to Asa. He was 2-1 last week. I was 1-2. However, we are even, 3-3 on the season. So let's see, Asa, why don't you start off? Who's winning TCU K-State?
Okay, so I was hoping you'd give me something to go off of, Jace. I like your predictions.
I don't tip my hand.
I know you don't. I know you don't. So I am gonna go with TCU. I'm a big all about momentum, especially with college football. Max Duggan is playing unreal. He's got some ginger power or something going for him. I don't know what it is. So I got the Horned Frogs winning that one.
Hey, Jace?
You're lucky. I like you. TCU's going to win as well.
Oh, yeah.
Max Duggan he's had a really great season. You got on there, Quentin Johnson is arguably in a front-running position for a Heisman as a wide receiver. I mean, that's just an unbeatable combo.
Well, I'm going to go with K-State, the Wildcats, and Adrian Martinez. I also think, it's important to look ahead. Next week, Cowboys will be in K-State, and that game time has not been released, pending whoever wins the Cowboys OSU game and the TCU K-State game.
Fun fact, can y'all tell me an interesting stat that Adrian Martinez has? He's one of 2 quarterbacks to not do something in the entire season.
To be on a team that's that's gone to a conference championship?
No.
Throw an interception?
Yes. He is one of 2 quarterbacks to not throw an interception, but
that's
going to change this week.
All right, and for of course, our loyal and true Cowboys, Jace, I need who's winning and a score prediction.
Well, I'm going to go Cowboys. I'm going to say this is an absolutely high-scoring contest. 100 points combined, 55 for Oklahoma State, 41 for Texas.
55-41.
Oh, Cowboy fans. We'll talk about Jace's bad math after the show.
55-51.
Okay.
After the bad show.
Okay.
Cowboy fans, 2 years ago when I was in Jace's role, I was asked to talk about this homecoming game, and I made a very bold and brazen prediction. I had Texas winning here at home on that Halloween night.
That is the last home loss for the Cowboys. It's homecoming against Texas in 2020.
And I don't want to curse, but my competitive nature, I want to have the lead in these predictions.
So you'd rather have the lead than have your Cowboys win, is what I'm hearing.
Don't frame it like that. I have to have integrity with what I do. I have to go with my heart. So I have Texas winning 37-34. Bitter homecoming night. Jace Andrews and Alex Dusky are both going to be very upset at me, and my phone's going to blow up.
I have the Cowboys winning. We will end the show on a high note, and it'll be close. I have a 35-31 victory for OSU. So, we'll see who's right next week.
Your phone will be blowing up because of all the texts saying, "Hey, we actually beat Texas, and
Yay.
you were wrong."
Hopefully, I'll be happy.
No, you're a Texas fan right now. You're a Texas fan. I can't take it away from you.
Oh, well, that's going to wrap things up here on the Poke Report. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Asa Lucas.
And I'm Alex Tusky. Have a safe and fun homecoming weekend, and
Go Pokes!